Talking Tottenham, a fantasyfocus.com production.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 158 of Talking Tottenham. Bucky joined, as always, by Daniel Shakes. 2-0 was the scoreline there on Sunday morning. Spurs defeating Wolves in probably one of their better displays on the year. I thought they went out with a purpose to win that match and not just sit back. I also thought that Dele played a nice game along with Højbjerg and Harry Kane. It was nice to notch those 3 points in our belt. However, we are not making it to Champions League due to the result that occurred today with a draw. Chelsea won, right?
They won 2-1 against Leicester.
2-1. It was about to be a draw. Then we get a nice little 2-1 action there. Chelsea basically stamping us deep down in the dirt. But we still got a chance to fight for fifth. A few things need to go our way, but it's disheartening to not be what looks so promising in that early time frame of this season. I should say, second, fifth of the year that showed so much promise for Spurs. It's crazy that you can break down the football, the actual league campaign into basically 5 different parts. And at the end of the road, we'll see if we can go out with 2 big wins and solidify our European stance. But it's a bummer, and even though I have this wonderful haircut going now, I'm still depressed and in my feels.
As am I, Bucks. It was delaying the inevitable when Chelsea dropped points the previous game, and then once you saw this game unfold today, it was bound to happen. Also, Liverpool, they've gone on a win streak as well. So it was always Spurs on the outside looking in since about, 5 games ago. Your hair does look good, by the way. I think that also it rejuvenates your hair, right? When you cut it, get rid of those split ends, whatever else you were working with. I think it's only healthy for your hair to every now and then give it a quick trim.
No, these are like
12 inches? Like, what are we talking?
I mean, it was down well below my shoulders.
Did you donate it to Locks of Love?
No, they just chopped that shit right off and threw it in the garbage.
Away, and you just never saw it again.
They took one sniff of it and just chucked it.
I hope that's not how you handle your relationships, Bucks. Just in general.
That's fair. That's a fair point. It's a bummer, man. We've gone through so much last 2 years, and I don't want to harp on it. I do want to look forward. We have a bunch of listener questions. We're not going to get into a few of them. We're going to hold on because we have about 15 that just poured in. So we didn't even have ample time to get through about 8 of those in terms of formulating responses to those. So we're going to hold off. We have a game tomorrow against Aston Villa. So on probably a Thursday night, maybe Friday night, we'll break everything down on that leading into the final weekend of the season. We'll have probably 10 more, and it's just going to be rinse, recycle, repeat. We'll get to those when we get to that junction.
Whatever.
I did a presentation today for work, a few of them, and big crowds, and I confused junction and juncture no more than 6 times. No less.
Is that just like a go-to, what is it, a colloquialism? Like, what is it? Like, it's a figure of speech where you always want to say, and then when we meet at this junction with the client, or do you mean juncture?
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, they could kind of be used interchangeably at times.
I think so. Did you use the word conjunction at all?
And then function right after it.
Yikes. A lot of shuns going on.
Yeah. Too many shuns.
If it was on Zoom or some sort of visual internet, I'm logging in on the computer to see Bucky's mug, I bet 10% were paying attention, Bucks. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
You think so?
Do you think it's more than 10%?
It wasn't a free webinar. I mean, this cost a lot of money for folks to attend. I mean, I charge higher ticket prices than Spurs.
Either playing Minesweeper in the corner or Snood. You don't think that's happening? You don't think Candy Crush is going on right then? Or Words with Friends?
There's something going on over there.
Yeah, and the money was paid by the partners. You think all the folks below
It's true.
were eagerly listening?
It's definitely true.
I'm kidding, man. You crushed it. And you're downplaying it, man. You speak to a lot of people, including on this podcast.
Well, I like speaking, but it stinks because, like, at least in here, I get your reaction, I get our awesome listeners' reactions, comments. So it just kind of keeps everything going naturally, and playing off that is my strength. I'm more of a live room guy. I'm not a sit on this screen and look at my slides as I speak to nobody. But then you got a boatload of questions at the end. It's tough. And that's how I felt with Spurs. I was prepping for that, trying to prep for this. Obviously, work pays the bills. This is simply, Danny Shakes forces me to do a podcast every single week. So, he told me he did it tonight. I was like, man, didn't sleep much last night. Shakes, I didn't sleep much. I was nervous. I had 3 hours of prezzies to do today and all this. And Shake's just like, yeah, but man, I just want to talk to you.
I need to talk to you about Spurs being eliminated, about Harry Kane wanting out. There's a lot of shit we got to go over, Bucks. I do like that you thrive off the energy in the room, though. And maybe Spurs would have kept a few more points if they had some energy in the stadium. Never know, man.
Ooh, wow.
Maybe if we had supporters. Who knows? You like that?
Smooth transition right there. That was a smooth as butter transition. Danny Butter Shakes over here. Spread them on a nice piece of toast. Throw a little jam on there.
Nah, avocado.
Butter and avocado?
I'm one of those people, Bucks.
You put butter and avocado?
No, just avocado. Come on. I'm out on butter. My cholesterol is through the roof, Bucks. It came back yesterday. It's another discussion for another time. Okay. It's high. It's in the twos.
That's fair. Let's get into. So yeah, I do think Spurs feed off the energy. With the Jose ball, though, it could have even been worse than it was with fans in the stands. I think that's an interesting subject for like its own 30-minute podcast.
Very true. We'll have some summer stuff to talk about in between Euros and the new season starting.
We will have plenty. We could have used a little bit of juice in the tank, even away too. Like especially those matches where we went up early. Take the crowd out of it.
Yeah, they're all butt clenching. Yeah, not thinking that equalizer's coming. I mean, shit, we could have got 4 extra points from Newcastle alone. I don't want to think about this anymore. Spurs look good. Wolves, though, they started like a bunch of kids. And then Cody. It wasn't a I don't know,
that's a
high caliber team. It had Traore through the middle, which was interesting to watch. I didn't know if that was better or worse. Traore just seems out of place on that team. I don't know why they got to transfer him out, I think.
I think Dyer looked out of place against Traore.
Well, I think a lot of guys do in Dyer's defense, but I still don't think Dyer is a top 2 center back on any EPL team right now. Unfortunately, I want him to get better back to his ways. But I mean, I still want to see what this Rodon Toby experience would look like. But I still think Spurs are targeting center back pretty bigly, Bucks, in the summer window. So I think powers that be agree with me too. With that said, not a lot for those guys to do today. I mean, it was pretty much Spurs with possession. Really, Spurs could have won this game like 4-0, I thought. I think they had 24 shots, 13 on net, 62% possession, 3 shots on net for Wolves. So there was a little bit, I guess, but really it was Toby and Dyer pretty high up as the likes of Højbjerg, Lo Celso, Tanganga, Reguilon, and Dele were more in the middle of the pitch, kind of having their way with Wolves, which I thought or hoped at least would happen against Leeds, but Leeds didn't want to think about going on vacation early, whereas Wolves did. So that's what you get, Bucks. You get a fired up Leeds team that beats up on Spurs and kills all dreams, whereas you get the Wolves team that is basically halfway out the door, and Spurs kind of beat up on them pretty good.
So Leeds caught their stride a little bit towards the end of the season.
They did. Did Rodrigo have a hat trick? Did I read that right?
They're a good team.
Yeah, they're
well coached.
I mean, they're going to be that up and coming team, right? Like, are they going to be the dark horse pick next year?
I feel like they were
look for Europa, Leeds.
They're kind of like Judd Apatow. Like when he was starting off,
like after there's something about Mary,
a lot of misses throughout the early stages there. Something about Mary was not Judd.
Oh, who am I thinking of? That's
isn't that the Cohen brothers?
That's Cohen brothers. My apologies.
Not the Cohen brothers.
No, now I gotta look this up.
It's definitely not. It could be Cohen, but I don't think it is. Somebody bail us out of this, would you?
Yeah, what do you guys listen for?
Fairley brothers.
No, you're right. not the Coen brothers.
You swing and a miss there, Danny.
That's what I'm here for.
For both of us.
Incorrect movie tidbits by Shakes.
Yeah, leadoff hitter, swing and a miss.
Back when Tarantino did There's Something About Mary. Yeah.
What I'm saying is it was a slow burn for Apatow out the gates, and then he was just hammering heaters from like 2005 through 2012. And then they killed comedy. Yeah.
They did kill comedy pretty bad.
Comedy's dead. It has to be packaged in this perfectly pristine way that can't offend anybody.
I think what it is now is, you got to have like 5 people that are like considered like the joke czars that listen to it and then let you know if it offends more than a certain percentage of people, and then you got to axe the joke.
I like that group of 5 joke czars. Do they all show up with tidings?
I think they thumbs up it or thumbs down. And it's not even like 3-2, like super. It's got to be like super majority. It's got to be 4-1. It's not even.
They come with their offerings to the comedy gods.
It's got to be tough to be a comedian right now. With that said, I bet you could probably have loads of fun at like some like off-Broadway type comic joint, right?
Oh no!
Like if you wandered into one of those joints, I bet those places is just probably a breath of fresh air at this point.
Oh, I've gone. I've seen some here at a few of the places that are like in the suburbs.
Like check your offensive-ness at the door.
Yeah, it's like 100 people in there, and there's no cameras allowed. So
like it,
they just let it rip. And you know that's a totally different subject. But Bielsa has just found whatever works with his crew, and he keeps throwing out the same type of rotation. The players look really crisp, and they work well together. They have one mindset, and that's like what he hit with Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill. You know, he just kind of hammered that home and really got the bacon on that, the bacon cheddar, just rolling around in it. I had bacon for dinner. I'm low on everything, man. I was busy over the weekend. I saw you on Friday. Everton Jordan came in for the weekend soccer match and then had to prep Sunday and Monday for these presentations. So, yeah, it's a whirlwind. I'm tired, but we're going to fight through it. So the 2 goals, both very, very sweet. Højbjerg starting the first one with just an excellent seam ball, little aerial seam to Harry, and Harry just does his thing. It's going to be sad when he doesn't play for Spurs.
Yeah, I don't want to dive into that just yet, Bucks. Let's push that away.
You can't hold back my feelings.
Spurs could have been up earlier. I mean, I thought Dele actually, even though I disagreed the last few games that he was really good. I thought he was pretty good this time around. Definitely could have had a goal himself. Should have had at least 2 assists by my count. So Harry getting on the board made it seem like the justifiable scoreline at 1-0 at halftime right before. Even though, like, again, in the States, NBC Sports, like, not cover. It reminded me of the Man City goal, like, earlier in the year, Bucks. They just suddenly just picked it up, and Kane's, like, all by himself and just scores. So you don't even know, like, what happened.
Past the goalkeeper.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, what the fuck? But, yeah, nice pass by Højbjerg, new setup guy and guy that runs forward, Højbjerg. Not sure if he's just like, fuck it, we're not winning anything anyway. So now he's just, like, running up into the final third more or making more knifing passes. Yeah. So good setup by Højbjerg. Kane buries it. Obviously, he has the calmness to go around the keeper, shun off that last defender diving at him. I think it was Cody, and then just buried it.
It's a good finish. And then Højbjerg on a little ricochet ball.
Yeah, it was a nice shot by Bale. Good find by, was it Son that found Bale across the, a box basically, and then rocket shot by Bale, and then Højbjerg was just like always sprinting at the ball. And you just saw he was going to get there first and clean it up.
Well, that shows a little change of mentality. I think if that happens under Jose, he very well could yank Højbjerg.
He does. He makes him
being that reckless
laps around the stadium during the game.
Yeah, as we play with 10 men.
Yep.
You're going back in after 6 laps.
Better than having to go to the bathroom and playing with 10 men.
You're like a velodrome.
I mean, what else do you want to take from this game? I thought Wolves just completely mailed it in.
Agreed, completely.
It was so like, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's checked out. I mean, maybe good for their supporters. It's just like less stress for them since like March. I don't know.
Well, no matter what,
you're safe. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you stay up in the Prem. You make your money, and it's pretty. I mean, tier to tier, it's not negligible, but the amount of money you receive for simply finishing 17th, if that's where Wolves ends up, and I'm not sure what the possibilities are. As Jose said, I don't look down, I look up. My sweet manager.
I love him.
Yeah. But what it boils down to is I'd rather, if I'm in their situation, I'd rather experiment with the players we have on roster as tryouts.
Right.
You know, who's playing, who did a good job. Sure, the cohesive performance wasn't there, but could you really expect it to be in that scenario? Absolutely not. If Spurs all of a sudden roll out, we get Juan Foyth back, we put in Juan Foyth, Oliver Skip plays, Ryan Sessegnon plays. I mean, the cohesive nature would not be there, but I'd be excited. Like if all of a sudden, I don't even want to say what I'm going to say. If things don't go well tomorrow, I'd rather see us just throw shit at the wall against Leicester on Sunday.
Just see anybody and everybody play. All the kids. Get Scarlett out there.
Yeah. I love the kids. I'm like
just
Trick Daddy.
Get a one-footed Skip out there.
I'm just like Trick Daddy.
His broken foot. I mean, yeah, they played. Isn't Fabio Silva like 16? What is he?
No, I think he's like 18 or 19.
Still.
Yeah. I actually like his game.
No, I don't mind him either. Like he's probably a good player in 5 years. When he's like 22, 23.
The good news is
still like a young star.
Yeah, but with gosh, what's his name?
You see Ian Ferguson on our chat here. Bring back Danny Rose, just for old time's sake.
Well,
throw him out there one more game.
He's lingering around somewhere. You don't know exactly where he is, but
we banned him, right? Like his key card don't work. He had to turn in his gun.
He's the security guard now.
He gets a nightstick.
I don't think security guards get guns, man. I
didn't call him the security guard. You did. I think he's just got a gun. I don't know. That's more in the United States, I think.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Yeah. What are you gonna do, Bucks?
So Tanganga stood out. I really enjoyed what I saw from Japhet Tanganga.
Of course you did.
What do you mean? I'm not.
I thought he was good, but it was against a hapless Wolves team, and then to add to it, like they're like, "Hey, we're going to start Traore in the middle, not against you, Tanganga," and he looked good. You know, you're absolutely right. It's just, I don't know. It's tough to gauge anything. It's like when Spurs dominated Sheffield. It's like that was Sheffield.
I'm not buying that. Tanganga stood on his head.
So the rumor on the street is PSG might be under some sort of negotiation acceptance. We'll see with Serge Aurier. So that's probably why Tanganga got the start. Do you believe that's true?
I do believe that's true.
You're reporting that?
I will officially report that Serge Aurier is on his way out. But here's my big issue. I feel like we go through this every single season, you and I, especially this time of year.
And especially with Serge.
If I just took 30 minutes to put research to type in Tottenham Hotspur transfer activity or rumors, whatever you want to call it.
Better than other Google searches.
I saw within 13 different articles, 14 different teams that Serge Aurier would be going to. And it ranged from like RC or RB Salzburg,
like somewhere he would never agree to.
Yeah. You know, like these things don't make PSG was just in the semis. You know? None of this makes any sense.
He's a Poch right back, apparently. He wants to go back to Paris.
The Paris thing, yeah. But he came from PSG.
I think we have like foreign-born players too. It's just so easy to like make that connection. It's like, oh, and he loves France, so therefore he's going to go back to his homeland, or you know, like what? Not him, but you know what I'm saying, just anyone. So maybe that's just where it makes it easier to make the connection. Like Harry Kane, when he leaves, he wants to stay in the EPL.
When Harry Kane leaves, he's going to Galatasaray. They
Chinese super club is registered interest.
Oh, can you imagine Harry in China? He scores 60 goals.
I mean, that's one way to win some trophies. I don't know what trophy. He didn't specify what trophy he wanted.
It's true.
He just wants team trophies.
Okay, you're going to consistently hate on my guy Tanganga. He can never do enough for you, and it's only because you're biased because I love him so much and I claimed him.
No, it's because
you hate my guy.
It's like you hate Lo Celso. So I have to fire back by hating on Tanganga.
Oh, I hate Lo Celso.
I thought he played well today.
Well,
He also had some very good passes. His passes are exquisite, Bucks. That's why I texted you. That was literally my text to you.
you got Ian.
I thought
here.
Tanganga played well. No defensive issues. I think he can definitely be a right back for Spurs in the future. It's just he's 22 years old or whatever. So I think you just got to go find a right back that's in that 25 to 28 range. That's not a Doherty mishap. And I don't know what happens with Doherty. I don't know if he just gets transferred out immediately, just cut bait at all time, just right now, or what. But I just don't see Spurs going Tanganga or bust in their starting 11 like in August next season. But I want Tanganga to win the job. Like, I guess I'll put it that way. I do like your boy, Little Hog.
Okay, good.
The sack.
Sack is back, Jack. We did have a question concerning whether or not we thought Tanganga was a center back or a right back. I'm going to stay the course here. He's center back. He's center back.
It's amazing, though, no one wants to give him that look. Mason did not. Jose did not. And then did Poch ever put him at
that's
center
a
back?
depth thing. That there's no other option.
We have no depth at center back. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Joey Roadpiece.
I like Roadpiece.
Yeah.
That's a nickname, I mean.
Or Joey Road Dog.
Were you a WWF fan during Road Dog?
I was always like lukewarm on wrestling, but I can get around. I know. Weren't they the Road Dogs, or was it just the Road Dog?
It was Road Dog. Oh man, what was it? Oh, and Badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws. They were part of Degeneration X. Yeah.
Degeneration.
We also have a buddy named Road Dog, though, so that's where this hurts. It's tough to Shout out to Road Dog.
Yeah, shout out.
Are we going to talk much about our weekend with Everton Jordan?
Feel free to discuss.
I think we just dropped little stuff in here and there. It was fun. Good times. Bar on Friday was fun. Then I had to leave. Being an adult, you guys got to rage the rest of the week. A little jealous. But maybe when he comes on, we can talk more in depth about it.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend. It was great getting out to a USL game and going to see the Tampa Bay Rowdies defeat in what was the proverbial championship from last year. Both teams still undefeated this season, 2-0 each, facing off at the same stadium they would have played in last May. Boom, hit them with it. 2-1 Rowdies.
2-1 Rowdies.
Yeah, it was a great game, and it was a lot of fun. I did imbibe, and I ended up buying 4 season tickets. I don't even know how I can get one person to go to these games with me on a consistent basis. So yeah, I did that. And when the season ticket rep called me yesterday, I said,
"Was she hot?"
Yeah, Jeff was super hot. What a voice on that guy. And so Jeff calls me. He's like, "So I got this down for 4 season tickets." I said, "Is there any way we can knock that down to 2?" And he just goes, "Oh, not a problem at all." And I said, "Yeah, I must have misspoke." You really pitched me on that one, Jeff. So I got it knocked down to 2, and I still don't know who the hell I'm going to get to go to these games every week.
Maybe
especially with Ubers and Lyft costs. Oh, good Christ, man.
Bucks, I had a work event like 2 weeks ago where I had to take Uber for the first time in like a year and a half. And it was like trying to teach me a new language. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to use the interface. I think I sent the driver like 5 miles west of me. Like it was a dumpster fire. I was like 30 minutes late to where I was trying to go because I just couldn't figure out where to get picked up. I just got to get integrated back into society. Problem. Yeah.
They are morphing by the day, and now there's like different tiers of when you want to get picked up, and it'll be like $6 cheaper if it's within 10 to 15 minutes and not immediately. But even if you get that, they're usually like 22 minutes. So there's zero controls. Nobody is making sure that we're hitting our marks here, Uber.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at is I used to be like pretty good with it, where I'm calling it from the airport, and as I'm like stepping foot out of the door, it's like they're pulling right up. I felt like I got it down to a science. Now it's like I'm relearning that. I just logistically, Bucks, I'm just a little rusty.
You're shook.
Not shook. I think just rusty. It'll come back to me, right?
Yeah. There, Shakes getting called out by Jerry.
What did Jerry say?
That's for his plane.
Personal driver. Look, nothing against Nigel, the personal driver. We use them a lot of times, $2, but other times I am in an area where just he's not around, so therefore I gotta rely on the good folks at Lyft or Uber Black, of course.
Uber Black is a good product.
Mm-hmm.
At least it was.
Yeah, I haven't used that in a while.
Sent me for a loop. I got men of the match. I got Højbjerg, Kane, Tanganga.
I went Højbjerg, Kane, Dele.
I don't mind that.
Yeah. Dele had that sweet little nutmeg pass that Kane should have buried, but it was a great save and then off the post. And then Dele had the comebacker and put that off the post. Actually, in that moment, I was like, somehow Wolves are going to either get a point or win this game. But thankfully, Højbjerg scored like 5 minutes later.
Because that little pinball deal that was going on.
Don't you have those moments in a game where like something happens that's just outrageous? And you're like, that's it, we lost. Like, I don't know how this is going to unfold, but it's just not going to work out in our favor. Gods are against us.
Oh, you mean your gut drops 6 times a Spurs
Let's
match?
say Lo Celso is pointing at a player and then draws a handball the first minute of Champions League.
Shakes, you're talking to a guy that shit his pants 2 times this season alone.
You're like, not
Spurs.
happening. Not happening. What was the second time?
I didn't reveal that, but I just
did.
It's
fine. Save it. Save it. We'll just assume it was one of these games. Did we win at least?
No.
Spurs win?
No. I only shit my pants during losses.
That's not a good sign. Like if I'm ever going to a game with you and you just go, uh-oh.
It's basically like when I can tell it's about to rain because my nips are blasting. Good looking at Mean Girls there. All right, let's get into some listener questions here. Like I said, guys, it's been a hectic week. Guys and gals out there. A lot of ladies tune in for Shakes. That's what I've heard.
I have not heard this.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. Let's rank positions to address in transfer window by need. CB, RB, defensive mid, attacking mid. We could probably add striker.
Yeah. I like how we keep pushing this out. The biggest news of the club in the last 6 years.
If you don't talk about it, it
just won't happen. It just won't happen. Center back's number 1. And I think that's just, if anyone thinks otherwise, I think you're lying to yourself. Toby, we love him. He's friend of the pod, of course. But I've stated my case on Sanchez, I think, being transferred out. I just think the Eric Dyer project, although we're trying to come back for his 9th album, wherever he's touring these days, on like Wednesday evenings at like the
it's an extended play. It's an EP. Yeah. It's not an LP.
I don't even know what it is. Like, is he playing at Fairgrounds, but like in the corner? So he's not even like part of like the listing.
Yeah, like if he was at the Gasparilla Music Festival here in Tampa, he'd be on like
underrated festival, by the way.
It used to be good, but it's been rough in recent years. But he would be in the very back corner on the smallest stage possible with like 13 people watching.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting tipped well because it was an intimate experience for those folks.
Probably so. Center back, though, number 1 for me. Don't hate me, Bucks, but right back's number 2. I want Tanganga to take that position by the scruff of the neck, but I just think it's tough to rely on such a youngster to just come back and become the starter when he just never took it to begin with, and they got Doherty like last year. So I think that's number 2 for me. Number 3, I'm going to say it's got to be defensive midfield, because it's like Ndombele and Lo Celso just aren't as good defensively. Lo Celso might be a little better when he's asked to play there defensively, but they're just I'm growing to believe what everyone's telling me, which is they're kind of more redundant than helpful together. So maybe to pair someone with Højbjerg. With that said, maybe Skip just, I'd have more confidence, I guess, Skip sliding into not a starting role, but like a role where he is far more commonly played than Tanganga would be. Like if you gave me a heads up, like who is more prominently involved for Spurs next season out of those 2 guys, I would go Skip. And then, after that, center back, assuming the rumors are true and one Harry Kane is asked out of the team.
I mean, striker.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Well, Harry Kane is our best center back as well.
Yeah, he could be our best center back. He clears the line the best. Yeah, striker number 4, but really it's number 1 if Harry Kane leaves.
What about attacking midfield?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we got that. If Bale comes back on a loan, and then you have Son, you have Dele, you have Steve Bergvine, you have Lucas. Look, could you get another player there? Sure. Do you need to deploy resources there when you probably should be deploying the resources in other areas? I think that's more the answer. We don't have endless money over here.
So I'm going to go right back first, just because I think
Okay.
the game, the current game, from an attacking perspective, is built from the outside in, and right now we lack so severely there. I think Reggie earlier in the year was highly effective. He has his moments currently, but he's still growing into the player that he could be. You're always going to have those growing pains your first year in the Prem. So hopefully he can stay healthy next season, and he's going to be an effective player out on the wing for us there. And he's got hustle for days, jets for days, but we need something else on the right side. Surge, but they have to be reliable. A, getting back, and B, not duffing every single opportunity that comes near them and resulting in a goal that either equalizes or takes the lead in the game in big moments.
It's always like super devastating.
So I think right back has to be number 1. I think Tanganga is our replacement at center back. So we got that covered. I'll put that behind a defensive midfielder who's got a little more creativity. Obviously, I think everybody that listens to this show would love a guy like Souček for West Ham. Somebody that is a bigger fella, but also has a little bit of a nice little pizzazz to his game.
They want like 25-year-old Dyer.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, isn't Dyer only like 27 right now?
Yeah, but like, when he was 24, he was great.
Has he degenerated that much?
I don't know, man. You lose your tonsils, you lose your spleen or appendix? I don't even remember now.
Yeah, he lost his best guitar pick too.
Yeah,
the lucky pick.
The lucky pick.
Yep. There's always one. There can be only one.
I guess it really boils down to how plug and play Skip is. But go back to your list. I'm sorry.
Okay. So number 2 would be a defensive midfielder. Number 3 would be an attacking mid. I do have a feeling that we're going to see one of the following 3 leave. And at this current juncture or junction, I don't know who that is. It's either going to be Dele, Lo Celso, or Ndombele. One of those 3 is gone. And the highest market value currently is probably Dele for a Prem move, then Ndombele, but Ndombele for an international move is probably the highest overall value in return. The problem with selling Ndombele is you brought him in for what we brought him in for. You're going to take a massive hit with him on the way out. The stats just aren't there. The consistency is not there. And at times, I just don't know how much another team would be willing to spend to bring him in, understanding that it's topsy-turvy. It's not going to be just a ready-made type of situation. It's not hamburger helper. I'm not just going to throw that shit in the skillets and all of a sudden I got beef stroganoff.
Do you think it'd be that much of a loss on Ndombele?
Yeah, probably like 15 mil.
Well, I mean, what do you think the loss would be on Dele versus like what Dele's top was?
Yeah, that isn't the way this works. I work in the world of knowns.
Do you think he could get back to that ceiling?
Do I think Dele can get back? No, because he's not 21 anymore.
Well, he's still like 24.
Yeah, but there's a big difference when he's only staring down 4 to 5 years of prime versus 8. Trust me, that ceiling is gone. It's always going to be gone. Dele's not going to be putting up 20 goals and 10 assists again. It's just not going to happen.
Well, then is there an argument to be made you sell Dele if you think he's still on the way down? Or is it like the English stuff, like all that still plays more of a part than maybe I'm thinking of for Ndombele?
I think it plays a very large role because I think a guy like Dele wants to stay in England.
I mean, I've read some terrible articles that are trying to justify like 25 million for Dele bucks. Spurs aren't selling him for that.
What I told you something that you got
US.
pissed at the other day. I said like 35.
That's what transfermarket.us has them at, or .uk.
That makes sense.
Doesn't matter.
I actually
35
just took a
million,
stab
so that's
on
30 million pounds, right? So that's even less.
Oh wow, so it's in US dollars.
And Delhi just turned 25. Yeah, I mean, if I went on transfermarket.uk.
But that's the thing about valuations of these players. It's all contingent on whether or not the player is sold at the exact right time.
Oh, for sure.
That time is gone. It just like it's gone. It's not gone for Kane because a striker, the way he plays, as long as his ankles hold up, I mean, he's going to score a lot of goals for wherever he goes, especially if he went to like Germany. Oh my God.
I just feel like the play with him, again, I'd go back to this, is loaning him out instead of letting him just go. I mean, if someone wanted to overpay for him.
It's a reset. You can't just say, well, we're just going to loan him out. He'll be back. He'll be back.
But he's 25.
We have to build on
not
something.
28. That's what's different with the reset.
For the
how long do you think the reset takes? I guess let's start there.
4 years.
4 years?
Oh, yeah.
Bucks, I'll be 40 by then.
It takes time for Graham Potter to cook in the kitchen, man.
Oh, my gosh. Now it's Graham Potter?
Oh, yeah. It's always been.
I think it might be him more now that Kane's leaving, if that's true.
Just put the wallop on our guy Pep.
It's like once you take away more stars, because like the knock on him is probably he hasn't had like star caliber players to deal with, which is probably kind of like a sneaky big deal when you have to manage like egos and all that. But if you take away more of those guys like Kane and Son and whoever, I guess if you're going to give him a piece of clay, you might as well have Potter do it, right? Versus like some manager of Belgium, who, by the way, I think underachieve. So I don't really see the appeal in that guy.
By the way, I saw Belgium, their squad for the Euros. Wow.
It's sick. They should win. Should we put a bet on it? Like, I don't want that manager, I don't think. He should have won. They look terrible against France.
When I look at Belgium's
World Cup,
I'm like, holy shit, that 22-player roster is wildly good.
Well, then you have like your upstart midfielder, like just labeling a corner postage stamp to win the FA Cup. It's like that guy's not even like the 7th Belgian you think about.
No, but he was a guy Spurs were after. I think that's the thing.
I know. I don't want to get into that.
Most. Yeah. Let's not go down
like
that
just
road.
The misses of Spurs. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's a comment from Jerry McNeil. I thought doing my taxes was rough. Shout out tax day being over. Yeah. But the reality of Spurs' unknown future is bleak.
Can we get write-offs on our losses on Ndombele or Delhi? Well, it's not a loss on Delhi.
If there's a will, there's a way. Is
that like a cost basis? Like I'm buying a stock, selling it, buy high, sell low bucks?
Yeah.
Is that I get to write that off normally?
Probably.
All right. Well, maybe there's that.
I'm sure Daniel's got all the loopholes going.
You transfer out Ndombele, you loan Delhi, you keep Lo Celso. It turns into your marry, fuck, kill type thing, right?
That's exactly what this is. We all.
I will not ask you between those three.
Please don't.
But I'm sure now that I've said that, the listeners.
Now, if you threw Sissoko in there, oh boy, we could talk. We could talk business there because I'm marrying that man.
Please, guys, while the rest of us, while we podcast the rest of the way, just MFK it in the chat comments on the right so that we can.
For the love of God, please don't do that. Danny Shakes is on one yet again. He's got the crystal glass.
I got the crystal with the tequila, Bucks. Yeah, no, it's the dire situation. You just told me Spurs rebuild's gonna be 4 years. Are you fucking kidding me?
It could be, man. It really and it probably is the right thing to do. We're not getting into it. You can go listen to last week's pod. I broke it down from my perspective, which really is like the paramount chief perspective across all of Spurs internet. You can listen to it, and it was a breakdown of the fact that we have to let go. To build, you need to take 4 steps backwards sometimes.
I refuse in this type of in the EPL current model. I get it. Spurs are not Liverpool, Man U, Chelsea, Man City. They do not have that money. Like that is just non-existent for them. With that said, in the situation they're in with some of the pieces that they have, look, they're not like next year just winning the title out of fucking nowhere. It doesn't work that way. I get that part, Bucks. But to think that you can put together the right team and handle a very, very long season where it works out and like those Like you can be Leicester City this year. Like that, I get it. Leicester, it took them like 1 or 2 years to rebuild since like their championship run. And then they were good. They really should have made Champions League last year. And then they were good again this year and won the FA Cup. They did that in less 4 years. So I'm pushing back, man. I just think there could be some plays done and with the transfer window, and Spurs still have a lot of good talent that are like in their prime or going to be prime. There are a lot of 24 to 27-year-olds on the team.
I think what I'm doing is it's more of a setting myself up than preaching anything that's based in reality.
This is you talking to the mirror.
Yeah, it's like just be ready for the next 4 shitty years. But then by the time we're in, 2025 and we're lifting trophy after trophy, just running gangbusters on them.
Just Captain Skip. Just like, this one's as heavy as the last.
It's just like the proclamation as he lifts the trophy.
Yeah.
All the pundits were right. Especially that one guy, Buck. And then he DMs us, says, hey, why don't you come out ride on the double-decker bus with us? And then we go nuts.
You paint a picture, buddy.
Yeah, and then Jose's the bus driver now. Just like in that stupid Bleacher Report thing that got me all hyped up when we brought in Bale. That was stupid. Looking back on that, how hyped I was over some stupid-ass Bleacher Report cartoon when we brought Bale in.
Makes you feel a little silly.
I mean, I'm a silly guy. I like cartoons. I actually watched Invincible on Amazon Prime. Very good. And I've been watching Bad Batch. I'm starting to find myself watching quite a bit of the cartoon programming on Disney Plus, especially the Bad Batch. So it's a Star Wars property.
100% saw that. I saw the Disney Plus when it's on. It's only Disney movies like Nemo and The Good Dinosaur and Toy Story. That dominates the scene in the Shakes household. But I saw like the trailer for it because it all shows up.
Yeah,
I also
it's a bit more adult
Star Wars
themed.
Lego one.
It's a bit more adult themed. I mean, it's definitely okay for kids, but not somebody like your kid's age.
Yeah, not like a 2-year-old.
I mean, there's a lot of gunplay.
Yeah, no, we're trying to stay away from that.
There's a ton of gunplay.
Lightsabers are fine. Guns are out. Especially like guns that shoot infinite lasers, Bucks.
What's with that? And we don't need to get into that. That's a completely different show for a different podcast. But I will say Invincible, very good. Bad Batch, really good. I would definitely recommend either of those. But I feel like I'm regressing back to my childhood, trying to escape the reality that grips me. And that reality is Spurs.
I'm looking at transfermarket.com right now. You got Kane and Son at 27-28. But after that, Ndombele's 24, Højbjerg's 25, Dele's 25, Lo Celso's 25, Reggie's 24, Bergwijn's 23, Winks is 25, Skip will be 21. So it's not.
You didn't mention Tanganga is 22.
Well, I started at the top, and I have to go down further to find him on the value sheet.
Don't play me like that.
22. Look, the team's not like a bunch of like 18 to 22-year-olds is what I'm saying.
No. We should be okay. The problem is we should have been okay the last 3 seasons, and we simply haven't been, aside from the beautiful run, which is what I'm going to call it, just the beautiful run.
Look, don't get me wrong. It's going to be a purge, I think. I mean, at least as far as a purge can go, it's tough to just really, really overturn everything in transfer windows.
Purge State of the Nation?
I mean, like not the first one. Is that the second one?
I think that's like the 5th one.
I don't know. Yeah. But like
No. The first Purge was the last one. That one sucked.
But I was thinking about it. Let's say Sessegnon comes back and he is the backup left back. I mean, shit. Then that means Gentle Ben might be gone. Davis might be gone.
He's not a left back.
Well, he's been playing left back over at wherever, Hoffenheim. So it's just, you might see some names go that you just weren't expecting. The Hog.
That's fine. Listen, man, I'm forever in debt to you. Musa Sissoko, I want what's best for you and your family. So
me too for all the players. I'm just saying, like, there could be 7 guys that are gone. I'm looking at this list, Bucks. If Levy had his way, it doesn't matter. You don't get the right dollar amount.
But I mean, I was saying just like I care more about Musa Sissoko than anyone on the club.
So when do we talk about Harry Kane, or do we have to get through this? You got through your list here. Then we went off on a big time tangent.
Yeah,
Still
we're all
think
good.
center
It
back
doesn't
needs to
matter.
be number one.
We will have a pure Q&A based episode later this week. Harry Kane, there's a lot of shit out there, but then you had the counter punch by Delhi, who is on Instagram Live, of course, probably playing video games at the same time. And somebody said in the comments, touch your hat if Harry's going to stay. He just touches his hat.
That's some crack reporting by you. I did not see this.
Yeah, you had to dig through like the 18 rumors that Serge Aurier was going to RB Salzburg.
Do you think that's just solely because Levy's like, that's not happening? Don't sign a 6-year contract 3 years ago, boy. Sorry.
Do you think Daniel Levy calls him boy? He calls Harry Kane boy?
Listen, boy. No. I think he's now Harry. You signed something. I think it's more like that. I think it's more
that's
like
even
that.
worse.
Yeah. And he kind of like half smiles.
God, it'd be better if you just called him a little boy.
Do you think immediately after the one-on-one meeting, it was leaked by Harry Kane or by Daniel Levy that he wanted to go?
You're the one that theorized on this. I'm not going to get into that. I don't care. I hate all this
conspiracy
shit.
shakes.
No, I like your thoughts on it because you look at things with such a different angle than I do on these. For the most part, when I say I'm trying to research targets and rumors surrounding exit outs, what I mean by that is it's a crapshoot. You can go to 13 different sources, get as many different opinions as you like. Everything is different. Nothing is based in any sort of reality. There's no checks and balances for these rumors that just fly rampant. That's the thing that I still don't understand about European soccer and English soccer in particular is it's so highly visible and vocal in terms of this is what I heard. No, this is what I heard. No, this is definitely happening. In the States, we just have like trusted sources that nobody will talk about anything from unless it's from a group of like 5 or 6 different people based on their authority or their perceived authority as being the best not pundit, but best rumor guy that's in the business, the guy that gets the scoops, the scoop guys. We don't have that except for Fabrizio, who will always bring the heat. But I ain't been seeing a lot of here we goes at this time. I need a bunch of here we goes. And that's the only way that gets me going. Until here we go, I can't go. Because I've been told I need to wait for here we go. I've been programmed.
No, you're right. In the States, it's handled a lot differently with sports. However, in the States, like basically with everything else, like politics and vaccinations, then anything goes. Then anyone has heard anything that might be true. We probably will talk about this for what you think. Like he wants to have his future resolved before Euros, which is what, June 10th, 11th, something like that, Bucks?
It comes up quick, yeah.
That's not happening. That's not even close to happening. Like, first off, everyone knows everything gets done like the last 100 hours, basically, like less than 4 days of this window. So that's number one. And number two, that's just like a leverage situation. You're not going to be like, oh, I need to sell and I have to sell by this date. So that doesn't work out either. So Harry Kane will for sure still be, well, I shouldn't say for sure. In my opinion, he'll be on the squad before Euros and during Euros, right? Like that doesn't happen or get figured out till after.
If we're going to do the great reset,
maybe Euros are a good thing. Takes his mind off it for a little bit. Sorry. What about the great reset?
So the great reset, in my opinion, starts with Harry Kane taking the jump. There's no other player that will yield the type of return as what we have with Kane. Do I think there's some sort of media onslaught to propel this narrative? Absolutely. Why wouldn't there be? They're going into a Euro summer. You have the captain of England. You have Tottenham, who is repeatedly dogged by the various media outlets there in England. It's okay. They underachieved. And they underachieved for 2 seasons in a row. And They underachieved for really 3 seasons in a row. And that's heartbreaking when you came from second in the league, third in the league, just to kind of find your form dipping. And, it's kind of like, let's say you were scuba diving and, you almost found that treasure from that shipwreck that's down at the bottom. You thought you could make it all the way down, but then your pressure starts heating up quite a bit. Get a little spun down there. You got to go back up, and they're too scared to dive back in and get that goddamn treasure, Shakes. That's what this is. It's a pressure situation with the scuba tank. So maybe, maybe the Ben's got the best of Harry. He's afraid to dive back down with the same gear. He needs upgraded gear. Bigger tank.
Do you make much of the rumor that Levy, he wanted to leave last year, and Levy's like, no, man, hear me out. We got Jose. We're bringing in Højbjerg. We're gonna be ready to roll, and we're gonna do some things. So then he's like, fine, you get 1 more year. So now, because that was promised and there was this quote unquote handshake about it, that actually means Levy will be truer to his word and actually release Harry Kane.
Well, he's not going to release Harry Kane.
You know what I mean? But
I mean, is he going to take his hands off is he going to take his hands off his neck? Yeah. He'll do that, but he ain't releasing him.
Well, the reason I asked you is because I don't want it to get super duper ugly. That's what I worry about, Bucks.
Well, that's the thing that worries me.
Harry Kane could be one interview away of being like, Daniel Levy promised me stick it out this 1 more year. If we did some things, then I'd probably stick around. But now we're not even qualifying for Europa or Champions League. So, here's where we are. And then next thing you know, he doesn't want to play. I don't know. I don't think he would do that to the squad. I think he's a professional, but there seems to be a little bit more smoke with the whole what was promised to Harry Kane and what was his intention last year. And then, you have things that happen, of course, pandemic, Mourinho comes in, whatever. That then kind of builds onto what the situation could possibly blow into in July.
No, you're absolutely right. It's all about whatever promises were made under the table, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Or, a handshake agreement.
Trust me, one more time. I got you. Yeah.
And then Daniel just has like the frame 2024 contract right behind him. Harry. It's right there. That is your ink that is dried, sir.
Yeah. No,
it could get ugly just because if he wants to go, Shakes, you got a free Willy.
Well, that's look, I'm not trying to make peace with it. I want him to stay, but gosh, could that just be path of least resistance? Like, you suck it up and you take $100 million for Harry Kane, and I don't know what it'll be. I mean, would you rather have Bucks? Would you rather have, this is an Everton Jordan question, Gabriel Jesus and 60 million or Anthony Martial and 70 million? Bottom line is, would you rather have 10 million plus?
How old is Martial now?
If they're 1.5 years apart. I can't remember if
Jesus is younger.
Yeah, Jesus might be, if he's 23, then Martial's 24 and a half, or maybe it's 24 or 25, something like that.
Let me verify this intel, Daniel.
Would I lie to you, Bucks?
I mean, I'm just checking facts.
Look at Martial, 25, turns 26 in December.
Yeah, so Jesus is like a year and a half younger. I'll take Jesus.
And sacrifice the 10 mil.
I also think you could probably scrap together another package player with Man City. I at this point, I'm more hungry for players. Like, if you were to tell me we got like Bernardo Silva in that, oh goddamn!
I don't think you get that too. Well, then you're giving away money part. See, that's more Americanized, I guess. You don't see too many like player trades included, but it's just when you have this dollar amount, it's not just like anyone's just like cutting checks for 110 million.
I don't know. I just saw that Mansour is getting all Man City their trip to Porto paid for.
If you're a Man City fan,
how cool is that?
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, all travel, hotels, just go get nuts.
If you're a Man City supporter, do you want Kane or Haaland?
Kane.
I think so too, right?
Yeah.
I think there's definitely some supporters out there that want Haaland.
Well, think about it
this way. It's just like, you don't know what that is. It's like the mystery box. Not mystery
Timo
box.
Werner was once in the same shoes as Haaland.
Great point.
And it's not that he's been a terrible player. He's just missed so many goddamn shots.
Well, the Champions League goal he had couldn't have been easier.
There's been a lot
The ball
of
like
easy
presented itself 6 inches in front of an open net, and he headed it in.
Yeah.
And I was still nervous for him, as it was happening in slow motion.
I don't want to get into the rumors anymore. It's, in my opinion, it would be best for the longevity of success for this club. For me, it's better to start that process sooner. I think there are far too many glaring weaknesses to get the best out of Harry Kane, because we've already gotten the best out of Harry Kane, and it hasn't resulted in a single trophy. So if that's how Audi Cup, I mean, come on. But if that's how we're going to categorize this, is, do I think that getting the proper players in place in the other positions to make us a solid unit that plays consistent football? My answer to you is no. I feel like that is not something that is likely to happen quickly. So what's the easiest way to just say, you know what? It's a reset button. We get rid of it. And I'm factoring in that it sounds like he does have a large part of him that wants to go test waters elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, I'm not going to call it playing a more professional type of squad, but maybe that's what it is. And to realize that winning trophies is the goal here. It's the end goal. It's not just to finish top 6. It's not to finish top 4. It's to win it. And it's also to be the best player on that winning team. It's one thing to be the best player in the league, but the rest of your teammates, I'm not going to say drag you down, but let you down. Time after time when the stakes are high, or even worse than that, when the stakes are super low, and you just continue to tread water, and you never get out of that water. You're not an amphibious craft.
This is true. I think
you don't
another
have
point
tank
with
treads.
I don't have like that cool dolphin tank thing. Have you seen that, where it can like swim on its own?
Yeah, I actually saw that today for the first time.
It's nuts, right?
Pretty
It's
sweet.
like if you had a rocket ship thing and you could fly, it's like the version of that in water.
Yeah, but the water terrifies me.
Deep water kind of scares me a little bit.
I think all water terrifies me. You ever seen like a video off the California coast and it's just like tons of sharks?
No, I have not seen that. But
just do
I'll look this
California drone footage shark.
It's just shark, just like chumming the waters.
You just see surfers out there paddling around, and there's big ass giant sharks going right underneath them.
Goodness.
They're all over the place. I'm terrified of the water. I don't think I've been in beach water, and this is going to be a hell of a admission on this pod. I have not been in beach water for a long time. Now, I'll hop off a boat where it's purely clear and there's no tides, and I can see what's going on around me, so I can like punch the shark. And listen, I'm against animal cruelty, but if a shark is coming right at my kneecaps, they're going to get a buck fist right to the head. And we'll see what happens. But I have to have that visibility.
How long ago have you been in the ocean then?
Like the ocean, meaning
like if you, how long
in the
how long
waves?
Ago? Like, yeah, you wandered from the beach into the water.
Costa Rica, September 2015.
You live on the coast.
Costa Rica, September 2015.
Bucks, my beach house opens up in like 4 months.
I'm not stepping foot in that water. I'll dip my toe into it.
Okay.
I'm terrified of sharks.
Look, man, they're not great. Did you see Seaspiracy on Netflix, or is that Hulu?
No.
Yeah, it's rough. It's all about like killing the whaling industry, and then also how overfished like all of our waters are, and how that's like worse than like raising cattle, even though that seems questionable, and I'm not sure. I haven't fact checked it yet.
It's like a main focus bycatch.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like there's a lot of sea like fishing equipment that's like in that damn like trash pit that floats in the water. And then also, bycatch like kills everything.
Like nets and stuff, right? I've read a lot on the subject with bycatch, and
you should watch Seaspiracy then. It's interesting.
Yeah, hey, I don't like animal cruelty unless a shark is attacking me and I have to be the cruel animal.
Yeah, then you got.
But I wouldn't kill it. Like I don't think I could kill a shark.
if you think it's a great reset, not 100% a big time rebuild, so then Spurs still have kind of like those core players that I listed off, it would make sense probably to transfer out Harry Kane today versus 3 years from now, right? Because if you have these 23 to 26-year-olds that you think are coming into their own and about to hit their prime in the next 3 years and have like that good stretch run from then, well, you want to probably reinforce them today versus let Harry Kane get to 31 years old. They're now in their, then you're looking at a different type of rebuild. So that really depends, though, I think, on how you feel about like all those guys, the Delis, the Lo Celsos, the Ndombeles, the Hoy-Bears. Sonny's 28, but I feel like he'll be sprinting down the sideline at 35. I'm not sure. But Steve Bergvine, whoever. So I think that plays a part in this too, Bucks. I don't, looking back at it, for Spurs brass, Levy and co to actually just say, look, we're just running it back. We're convincing Harry to stay. I mean, that's the move, like 10 times out of 10. I don't know about doing it with Jose now, looking back at it, but I guess that's the whole idea, right? We're trying to win now. We brought in these pieces. Stick with us, Harry. We got Jose Mourinho. He's going to win us some sort of trophy here. Everything's looking great up until December, but now things have just drastically changed 12 months later.
Yeah.
Not even 12 months, like 6 months later.
So I practice personally in my work life, and I try to with like, when shit comes up, if you're moving and you have, projects that you need to address, but it's like a shit project, you eat the frog first thing in the morning. You ever heard of the eat the frog technique?
No, what's that mean then?
So basically, you have a series of tasks that you need to get done. And one of that piece is you have to eat a live frog.
So it's like you get it out of the way?
You just get it out of the way.
I gotcha.
You knock it out so it's no longer on your mind and you're able to reset and move forward. So I'm a big eat the frog mentality guy when it comes to personal and work balance. I'm the same way with Spurs. Here's this giant frog that you're going to have to eat. And that frog's only getting bigger. You're going to have to eat this damn frog, man. And people eat frogs.
It just sucks that we're at this point, but honestly, let's be real with ourselves, right? No trophies, no Champions League. He's in his prime. It sucks because it's like he's Spurs, so it does. You just wish he'd stick it out and just see what just try to see it through. But I'm sure the trust has kind of gone away a little bit. So you just see where he's coming from. That's what sucks. No one should be surprised by this. I think that's just what it boils down to for me.
Yeah, like that one client you don't want to talk to.
Yeah.
Putting it off for a day or two. Knock it out first thing in the morning. Sell Kane. Start the process. It's inevitable.
Rip the Band-Aid, Bucks.
I've swung you again. You're on my side.
Rip the Band-Aid.
It's going to suck. It's going to be painful. And he's probably going to live to be the greatest football player of our time on earth. I'm kidding. There's a lot of really good ones.
It just
most notably Musa Sissoko. Yeah. You come for Spurs analysis, stay for the professional best practices. Swallow the frog. Just eat the frog first thing. I don't learn much from the old Dale Carnegie, but he taught me that practice.
I did a Dale Carnegie training thing too.
I do them every year, and they're awesome.
My favorite thing is when people tell you no, it's like the reason they give you is not the real reason. I like that.
I mean, that's a little tougher to break down than just swallowing frogs, but I'm with you on that. We don't need to belabor that point.
We will not.
We will get to a bunch of the questions here. I think we've haphazardly covered most of those.
Do you have any others, Bucks?
I mean, there's a few. But
any good ones? No, I'm kidding.
No, they're very good ones all across the board. But we're already well over an hour here, so we will get into Aston Villa tomorrow and today. If you're listening to this in the UK this morning, we're playing Aston Villa, and Aston Villa's been up and down, topsy-turvy here the last few weeks. We've been the same. How do you see this one shaking out, Shakes? We'll start with your 11, which I know I'm just going to bank on your 11 being perfect because I don't have an 11. I'm operating on 0 hours of sleep.
Understood, buddy. I think it's the same back line with Reggie and Tanganga on the flanks, Dyer and Toby in the middle as the center backs. You got Lo Celso and Højbjerg. I think what happens is Lo Celso's moved up a little bit further, and then next to Højbjerg is going to be one Tanguy and Ndombele, so he'll actually get a starting opportunity under the Ryan Mason era. Lo Celso still starts, but he's further up, and then Bale will also get a rest. I mean, he's old man Bale, and he played not too long ago, so we'll get Steve Bergwijn up there, Sonny on the left, and then Kane up front.
Why not Lucas starting on the right?
You can talk me into that. That's fine. I just want to give Steve a blow, man. I feel like Steve might be the future. I mean, Lucas is on that list of 10 Spurs that might leave this year, even though I think he's definitely staying. But if you think, I don't know, not everything's lost because there's still Europa to figure out, but you're playing a Villa team that really isn't playing for much either. And you got Steve Bergwijn on the team. You've given him some spot substitution moments here and there. I think you give him the start on the right hand side. You can always bring in Lucas or Bale later.
So I don't think there's much, issues with running Dele back out there. I said I was going to trust you on this. I just simply don't after hearing that lineup.
Dele can come in off the bench, Bucks. That's
I've
not an issue.
got Dele starting.
This game was like 3 days ago against Wolves.
Dele in the same role.
Got to rotate our lineup.
7. It'll be at the point of kickoff, Daniel. It would have ended 74 hours prior. Okay?
I get it. It was back-to-back home games, Buck, but you gotta at least try to flex a little bit of depth on your squad.
I presented for 3 hours today on 0 sleep. All right, so you got Lucas on the right-hand side. I'm going with Dele again. Sonny, Harry Kane. I'm going to go with the Hoj. I'm going to go with Winks. Go with Tang on the right-hand side. I'm going to go with Tobes. Roden. Is Roden injured?
He did not dress in this last
I'm throwing
match.
him in there. I'm spicing
Davis
up the
is like
joint.
sneaky hurt. Like, what's wrong with him?
Davis is hurt. And then Reggie again. All right, so I got Reggie, Roden, Toby, Tanganga, Højbjerg, Winks, Dele, Sonny, Lucas, Kane. I got Spurs in a 2-2 draw.
Oh, I got 2-0 Spurs against Villa. Yeah. Villa's kind of mailing this one in. That's my prediction with this, Buck. What are they playing for? They lost to Palace 3-2.
Power.
Drew 0-0 against Everton. Lost to Man U. Then beat Everton again. I think they drew against West Brom. Yeah. It's not been good. Does Grealish even start? I know they're trying to ease him back in. I don't know.
It's Spurs. I say he plays.
Yeah. Maybe he tries to audition.
I say it's Spurs like it means anything. It only matters to us.
All of us and our listeners?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That might be
us,
true.
Those identifying as Spurs.
Who's watching the team anymore right now that everything's lost? Europa is still a real thing, Bucks. We have to go through scenarios next podcast. Bottom line is it kind of boils down to Liverpool. If they went out, Spurs could really screw over, I guess, Leicester, right?
No, Liverpool.
Well, they could screw over Liverpool for sure if they went out.
If we lose to Leicester.
If they lose Leicester. Yeah, that's what
I was looking at this the opposite way.
No, I meant that like they could really help Liverpool to
screw
over
Leicester.
Yeah. Because it'll all depend on goal differential. Right now,
well, who would
Liverpool
you rather
Leicester.
if we're baked in at 6?
Oh, I want to screw over Liverpool.
Which I guess we really wouldn't be baked in at 6.
We're not, because we got West Ham and Leeds is at 56 points, but they have a game. Spurs have a game in hand against them. So just winning this Villa game kind of clears it to where then I think Spurs would be up 4 on Arsenal. I believe then Everton can't catch them. It basically boils down to West Ham versus Spurs at 6 and 7.
We'll talk more after the game tomorrow.
It'll get much clearer. Asking us in the hour and 10-minute mark after a couple cocktails and no sleep and 3 hours of presentations. Don't ask me to try to figure out some pathway here.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Bucks.
I appreciate that. I am tired, folks, but you know what they say? This is like the flu game. Just finish above the Gooners. That's what I'm talking about, Ian.
For sure.
Completely agree.
And West Ham while we're at it.
Well, yeah, let's get in front of those bastards
That's
as
more,
well.
That's more real right now.
Well, we got 2 more games left. I think we're all going to be feeling very welcome about the offseason in terms of just taking a little breather, watching some European football. That's going to be exciting. And you get to watch for, Harry Kane just doing his thing, a few other great players over there. So it'll be good. It'll be good. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Follow us on Twitter at TTPodCoys. And follow us on YouTube at Talking Tottenham Pod. Appreciate all the love, support. For those of you who we did not answer your questions tonight, we will get to these. Hectic week, hectic weekend, and we're trying to piece this together as best as we can while making sure we're answering your questions. Couldn't get it done tonight, but Danny Shakes, sign the people off.
Let's go. We're running on fumes, but we got this. Let's finish strong. Europa ball. Come on, you Spurs. I caught myself. I was mailing it in, Bucks, and then I tried to finish stronger.
Is tentative, and then you just overdid it a bit.
I know.
You spiked the earphone, but I appreciate that because it shows you care. Coys, get it done. Beat Villa.